I'm reading Evie, and I have finished The Notebook, um, and I wasn't really that impressed with the book. I think I'll just stick to the movie. But these are my thoughts. One, I'm surprised by the opening here. We saw him as Duke carrying his notebook, but then afterwards I figured it'd go to the carnival scene like it did in the movie. But instead it went to the time they weren't together, the part after she left town the first time. And when Noah fixes up the house and Allie is coming to see him. It's been 14 years in the book since they've seen each other. I think in the movie it was like 7. But I'm not actually sure if they did say how long or if I just guessed that. But when she comes to see him, she realizes that it was always him. Of course. Nicholas Sparks. In the book, Noah has a dog named Clementine who had gotten hit by a car a few months back, and the owners didn't want her anymore. So he took her. For some reason, the vet called him. I don't know if it was just because he was a local or something, but luckily it was not. She was not put down or put in the foster shelter or whatever it's called. I had thought Duke was Noah's middle name because he goes by Duke in their old age. We learned his middle name is Taylor, so I'm wondering where he got Duke from. And if it was because of Allie, which it was. Because as you know, she has Alzheimer's in the movie, in the book. So I figured, that's why the name changed. But I still wondered where he got it from. In the book, they changed how he got money for the house. In the movie, his dad gave him the money, whereas in the book, his old boss left him the money after the business sold when the boss died. Allie was talking about the talk she'd gotten from her parents. If you watch the movie, you know the scene where they have sex for the first time, and then that night, her parents, she was out for since 2 in the morning, or until 2 in the morning, and then there's that big fight scene with her and her mom. Get out of the lights. There we go. And then, whereas in the book, he wasn't there for that. It's basically just the talk with her, and then she tells Noah the next day. Noah the next day about it. But anyway, she'd gotten the talk, basically saying that Noah wasn't good enough for her, and how it had hurt his feelings because he liked her parents, but didn't realize they didn't like him. And she was like, it wasn't that they didn't like you, they just didn't think you deserved me. And he was like, there's not much difference. And no, there really isn't much difference at all. When you know your in-laws, well, they weren't his in-laws still, but still, just flat out don't like you or think you're good enough. And I said, in the movie, Noah wrote her every day for a year. In the book, he wrote it for 2 years, but I don't think it was every day. I think it was just every now and I don't know about. It may have been every day. In the book, we find out she hasn't even slept with Lon yet. Which I don't know why that surprised me. This was in the 40s or 30s. Well, maybe the 40s at that time. There's this weird English lesson at the end of the first chapter. Well, I said the first 2 chapters. You realize you were in my video for just a second. Just gonna turn it here. He's not wearing anything. We have a light that's not even really working. I keep forgetting, and I just flip these 2 switches on. It's just habit, but so naturally he had to point at the light. Anyways, Like I said, there's this like weird English lesson at the end of the. I thought it was just gonna be like the first few chapters, but no, it was just about. What are you doing? It was just about like every chapter. I really hate it. I really hated it because it was like there was this one chapter that it had said it was like 103 pages because I was reading it on my tablet, and like half of it was just the stupid English lesson. Like I don't know why that was even on overdrive. It was stupid. It was most of the book, I swear. Um, I don't know who added that in, if it was Nicholas Sparks or what, but I was unimpressed. Uh, Anyways, I do kind of feel bad for Lon though. We got inside his head for like 5 pages so far, um, and it does seem that he actually does love her, not just with her because it looks good for his status or whatever. And then watching the movies, I had always wondered what happened to him afterwards. We never do find out. Um, I mean, I don't kind of feel bad. I do feel bad. Did you just leave this light on? Oh my gosh. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. I was gonna show you, but no. He has this light on for some reason. As you can tell, there's a huge glow to it right now. It's really just a circle. Oh, anyways. Gosh, I don't need more light. uh, I still do wonder what happened to Lon. I feel bad. Uh, of course. You always feel bad for the person being cheated on. Allie was thinking about how Noah exudes sexuality and everything he does. It just reminded me of a scene in The Office where Holly was talking about how Michael just exudes sex. And it cuts to a scene where he's just eating Cheetos and like the Cheeto dust is all over his suit. And now I just can't stop laughing. Which, if you've seen The Office, probably know what I'm talking about. Which, of course, it did not cut to Noah to doing something like that, of course. Not in a Nicholas Sparks romance novel. Book Noah took it a teensy bit better. Excuse me. With Allie wanting to break it off with him. Although I do like the movie version better because it is more passionate. Although if Allie was really concerned about not hurting anyone, she wouldn't have come and then cheat on her fiance. Because as you probably have seen, if you've watched the movie, obviously, she's, and she does it in the book too, she's, says, no matter what I do, if somebody gets hurt. It's like you weren't thinking about that whenever you cheated on him. In the book, the talk that happens with their mother also happens with Noah for a little bit, so that was nice. It was the talk when she comes and finds out that Allie is sleeping with Noah. Or at least, well, I mean, yeah, sleeping with her. Because she opens the door in her sheet, in the movie. So instead of, like, because in the movie, Noah wasn't there. He went to get breakfast or something. But in the book, he was. He's the one that opens the door, and he's like, oh, my God. And she's like, who is it? He was like, it's your mother. But anyways, Duke was talking about how he sort of regrets loving poetry because his final days should be spent in the sun, he believes, and instead it'll be spent by a reading lamp. And honestly, I just felt called so called out right now. Probably my last days. How it's gonna be by a reading lamp. Anyways, so he got his nickname from John Wayne, who's also nicknamed Duke, as maybe some of my viewers know. I don't know. I didn't know anything about John Wayne. I didn't ever care about westerns or anything like that. Anyways, like I said, wasn't aware of that, of course. But when he told Allie that his name was Duke, he then thought I've always been a John Wayne fan. So naturally, I googled John Wayne Duke, expecting it to be like a a role that he played, but there it was. It was his nickname. I'd always wondered where the hell he got Duke from. I assumed it was just something to tell Allie, of course, so that way he doesn't put too much on her. Which he learned from experience not to, because then the day just kind of ended up worse than it started, is what he said. Um, in the book, we find out they have 5 kids. However, one of them died at 4 years old. It didn't tell us of what, but it was sad. And he was talking about how even today, well, in his old age, he'd trade his life for, his kid, of course. I wish I would have told us, but I was about to cry anyways. They showed us the last letter Noah had written Allie, and talked about the story of her leaving Lon and coming there, and then telling Lon that she's staying with Noah, and he was telling this to their kids for the first time they're hearing about this. I think they were adults by then, though. And yeah, they were. And he was talking about how lucky he is and all that. And I know, this is written as a love story. However, most people nowadays are hating the story because, well, she cheated, and yeah, that's definitely messed up. I still can't help loving the story, though. Although, also in the movie, it had to do with how he acted at the carnival and threatening to jump if she didn't go out with him. So far, that hasn't happened in the book, so I'm thinking that's just a dumb thing the movie added, which shouldn't have happened because that's definitely fucked up. And I was right, it did not happen in the book. For some reason, maybe I'll look it up, but for some reason, the movie, whoever wrote the script, decided to add that in. And in the book, I didn't think Noah was really that toxic, whereas obviously in the movie doing that. But I still love the book. Well, not the book, the movie. I hated the book. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. After watching the movie, I wasn't really a fan. I don't know who wrote the movie. I'll have to look that up later. But they really wrote this out of nothing. This book gave you nothing. It really it didn't even cover when they were first together at all. We hear some things about it, but nothing even that they covered in the book was covered in the movie. So they really wrote it out of nothing. Which I'm impressed. I mean, that's, I guess, any movie script writer, though. And anyways, my last 2 notes. Today I have learned I am old. He was talking about how it seems like only the old can sit together in silence and feel content. I was like, that's literally me. I am almost always silent and very content with it. Just ask his life. The book didn't even end with them dying, and I feel cheated. It ended with Allie remembering who he was, like in the movie, and then starting to take off his shirt. So I don't know if they were just having old people sets or what, or they were going into, or she was taking it off so he can just lay down with her. I don't know, but that was all my notes on the book. But like I said, I still like this movie and the book. Not the book. No. It's definitely not something I'll ever read again. I was definitely unimpressed. It was very lacking after watching the movie. Although I'm glad that the carnival scene wasn't in it, but now I'm kind of pissed off they even wrote that in the movie, because that didn't even happen. And while Noah did knowingly sleep with an engaged woman, so he's not any better, but I mean, that was really their only flaw in the book. In the book, they didn't even fight a lot. So, whoever wrote the movie, again, I'll have to look it up, maybe it was Nicholas Sparks who helped. They really just love twisting a couple and making them toxic. Despite that, I definitely still love the movie. I'm tempted to probably watch it soon after this. What's that noise? Oh, Penny has a toy. Okay. But, so don't come at me for liking it. It is fictional. Kind of. It's based off of Nicholas Sparks' grandparents, but I don't know how much of that is true. And I'm guessing what happened in the book is probably more like what happened in their life. Like, I don't know how loosely he wrote it, and, I never looked into it. I just know that it was based off of it. So I'm guessing not the movie is probably. Oh, maybe. Maybe that's how they wrote the movie. I don't know. Anyways, it's still fictional, even if it is somewhat based on somebody else's life. And I'm still gonna like it. So whatever. But anyways, if you've read and watched the book and the movie, The Notebook, let me know what you thought. Maybe somebody out there liked the book better than I did. It's got a lot of good it's got a high rating on Goodreads. And like I read like one or two bad reviews, but it was before I started, so I didn't read too much into it. I was hoping they were going to be wrong, but they were not. And I don't remember what the review itself said, but I think it was basically how it was kind of boring. And he wrote this book in 1996, though. So compared to what he puts out now, it was definitely kind of boring, especially with the English lessons at the end, which I just skipped through. On my tablet, I was just swiping away. It was like I had Tinder again. I was just swipe. I'm just kidding. But, speaking of, well, not Tinder, today, as I speak, is February 5th, is 1 month until our wedding. 1 month exactly. Can't wait. Are we gonna post it on YouTube? We may or may not post it on YouTube. Maybe each of our channels, I don't know. Or maybe just Facebook for close family and friends to watch. If you want to see it, let us know. We wrote our own vows. Well, I did. He hasn't. He's working on it. Anyways, and we are not like Noah and Allie. A little better, hopefully. We don't fight all the time. And he has not threatened to kill himself if I didn't go out with him. So there's that. The bar is set high. So high. As high as tall as he is. Anyways. But let me know what you thought of The Notebook. Movie or book. It doesn't matter. I'm down to discuss The Notebook. It is my favorite movie. Other than Titanic. And Harry Potter's. Anyways, that's a different subcategory though. Let me know. And subscribe, like, and share, and do that to Etsu's Live, and then follow us on TikTok. He posts a lot more than I do. I post every time I have like a new video out, and I tell them, hey, I have a new video. But that's what I do. Bye.